जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन नमो नतिरवनचारि। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन नमो नतिरवनचारि। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन नमो नतिरवनचारि। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव भगवान की, श्री श्री राधा नील माधव भगवान की, पंचतत्व की, श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हदेव भगवान की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Prabhuji has put only 45, 40, 40. Vedaham. Begin with Vedaham. वेदाहमङ्गपरमस्य हि योगमाया यूयं भवश्च भगवानथ दैत्यवर्यः पत्नीमनो स च मनुश्च तद् आत्मजाश्च प्राचीनबर्हिर्भुरङ्ग उत ध्रुवश्च वेदाहमङ्गपरमस्य हि योगमाया यूयं भवश्च भगवानथ दैत्यवर्यः पत्नीमनो स च मनुश्च तदात्मजाश्च प्राचीनबर्हिर्भुरङ्ग उत ध्रुवश्च। Any devotees can recite. प्राचीनबर्हिर्भुरङ्ग उत ध्रुवश्च। भगवानथ दैत्यवर्यः आत्मजाश्च। Next two shlokas are there. This I will recite. इक्ष्वाकुरैलमुचुकुन्द विदेह गाधी रग्बम्बरीश सगरागय नाहशूदा नाहशूद्याः मान्धातरल् अलर्क शतधन्व अनुरन्ति देवा देवव्रतो बलिर अमूर्तरयो दिलीपः शोभर्युतङ्कशिबिदेवलपिप्पलाद सारस्वतोद्धव पराशर भूरिषेणाः ये अन्ये विभीषणः हनूमद् उपेन्द्र दत्त पार्थार्ष्टिशेन विदुरश्रुतदेववर्याः वेद know it aham myself anga o narada paramasya of the supreme he certainly yogamayam potency yuyam yourself bhavaha shiva cha and bhagavan the great demigod atha as also Daityavarya Prahlad Maharaj, the great devotee of the Lord, born in the family of an atheist, Patni Shatarupa Manoho of Manu, Saha, he, Cha, also, Manuhu, Swayambhuva, Cha, and Tad Atmajah, Cha, and his children like Priyavrat, Uttanapada, Devahuti, etc. Prachina Barhi, Rubhuhu, Rubhu, Angaha, Anga, Uta, even, Dhruvaha, Dhruva, Cha, and Ikshvakuhu, Ikshvaku, Aila, Aila, Muchukunda, Muchukunda, Videha, Maharaj Janaka, Gadhi, Gadhi, Raghu, Raghu, Ambarisha, Ambarisha, Sagaraha, Sagara, Gaya, Gaya, Nahusha, Nahusha, Adyaha, and so on. Mandhatr, Mandhata, Alarka, Alarka, Shatadhanu, Shatadhanu, Anu, Anu, Rantidevaha, Rantideva, Devavrataha, Bhishma, Balihi, Bali, Amurtarayaha, Amurtaraya, Dilipaha, Dilipa, Shaubhari, Shaubhari, Utanka, Utanka, Shibi, Shibi, Devala, Devala, Pippalada, Saraswata, Uddhava, Parashara, Bhurishenaha, ye, those who, Anye, others, Vibhishana, Hanumat, Hanuman, Upendra Datta, Shukadev Goswami, Partha, Arjuna, Arstishena, Vidura, Shrutadeva, Varyaha, the foremost. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. O Narada, although the potencies of the Lord are unknowable and immeasurable, still, because we are all surrendered souls, we know how He acts through Yoga Maya potencies. And similarly, the potencies of the Lord are also known to the all-powerful Shiva, the great king of the atheist family, namely Prahlad Maharaj, Swayambhuva Manu, his wife Shatarupa, his sons and daughters like Priyavrat, Uttanapada, Akuti, Devahuti, Prasuti, Prachinabarhi, Rubhu, Anga, the father of Vena, Maharaja Dhruva, Ikshvaku, Aila, Muchukunda, Maharaja Janaka, Gadhi, Raghu, Ambarisha, Sagara, Gaya, Nahusha, Mandhata, Alarka, Shatadhanva, Anu, Rantideva, Bhishma, Bali, Amurtaraya, Dilipa, Shaubhari, Utanka, Shibi, Devala, Pippalada, Saraswata, Uddhava, Parashara, Bhurishena, Vibhishana, Hanuman, Shukadev Goswami, Arjuna, Arstishena, Vidura, Shrutadeva, etc. All the great devotees of the Lord, as mentioned above, who flourished in the past or present, and all the devotees of the Lord who will come in the future, are aware of the different potencies of the Lord, along with the potency of His name, qualities, pastimes, entourage, personality, etc. And how do they know? Certainly, it is not by mental speculation, nor by any attempt of nor by any attempt by dint of limited instruments of knowledge. By the limited instruments of knowledge, either the senses or the material instruments like microscopes and telescopes, one cannot even fully know the Lord's material potencies, which are manifested before our eyes. For example, the greatest scientists of the world are trying to reach the moon, the nearest of the planets, but they have no ascertainable clue as to how to reach it. And there are many millions and billions of other planets far, far beyond the scientists' calculation. But these are only the manifestations of the Lord's material energy. What can the scientists hope to know of the spiritual potency of the Lord by such material efforts? Mental speculations, by adding some dozens of ifs and maybes, cannot aid the advancement of knowledge. On the contrary, such mental speculations will only end in despair by dismissing the case abruptly and declaring the non existence of God. The sane person, therefore, ceases to speculate on the subjects beyond the jurisdiction of his tiny brain, and as a matter of course, he tries to learn to surrender unto the Supreme Lord, who alone can lead one to the platform of real knowledge. In the Upanishads, it is clearly said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead can never be known simply by working very hard and taxing the good brain, nor can he be known simply by mental speculation and by jugglery of words. The Lord is knowable only by one who is a surrendered soul. Here in Brahmaji, the greatest of all material living beings, acknowledges this truth. Therefore, the fruitless spoiling of energy by pursuing the path of experimental knowledge must be given up. One should gain knowledge by surrendering unto the Supreme Lord and by acknowledging the authority of the persons mentioned herein. The Lord is unlimited, and by the grace of the Yogamaya, helps the surrendered souls to know Him proportionately with the advance of His surrender. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमावों विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। with the blessings of their Lordship, Shri Radha Nil Madhava, Shri Gaur Nitai, Shri Lakshmana Narasimhadev Bhagavan, and all the Acharyas, and the Parampara, and Shri Prabhupada, and all the senior devotees, and all the assembled Vaishnavas with their blessings. I would like to welcome you all for today's morning Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. This verse, the sequence of verses, I think from 40 to 46, um, all the shlokas are speaking about how the Supreme Lord is unknowable, or his potencies are immeasurable, and anybody who claims that he is able to understand, or anybody is claiming that I have known everything, then Brahmaji is saying, then I am the one who has created this material world. And if I myself saying that I don't know anything, if someone says that I know or I'm able to understand, that means Brahmaji is saying, I have to say that there is no better fool than him, because I myself don't know, though I'm creating with my four brains, but still I'm not able to understand. So most of the times, uh, with the advancement of knowledge, people say that they are advancing by each generation, and every research or innovation whatever is being done, they are able to acquire more and more knowledge, and by that they are saying that and there are some statements which say that we are advancing, and still the with every of our advancement, still the knowledge is so unlimited. Even when sometimes material scientists also quote. So throughout, Chaitanya Charan was mentioning, people when they are claiming that with the advancement of knowledge, still the knowledge is so much unlimited. That means for sure that they are going to remain in ignorance throughout the creation. They they will never be able to reach the end goal of knowledge. So that's why here Brahmaji is saying that just by acquiring knowledge by some material means, we cannot reach the goal. So how is it that in previous shlokas, 40th onwards, there he was mentioning that there are I am myself, and even you, and so many other, even Lord Shiva, so many other people, even none of them are able to know Lord's potencies in complete. Even Chatushkumaras are not able to know. Even Lord Anantashesh, with his thousands of mouths, he is glorifying, still he is not able to know. Then how can we, being mere mortals, can we know the Supreme Lord's potencies? So, at one point of time in Sri Rangam, we all know there was a great devotee called Parashara Bhattar. So, this Parashara Bhattar, he he himself was a great scholar, and he had many disciples to whom he would teach shastras. So when he would be sitting on the courtyard, there would be one very great pandit who used to travel. Jai Shri Shri Radha Nilmada Bhagwan ki, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So he used to travel, and but this Parashar Bhattar would not show any concern for him or show any respect. So all the disciples were little much worried that this great scholar is coming, but Parashar Bhattar is not showing any concern or not giving any due respect what he deserves. But there was one poor Brahmana who would come, and but Parashar Bhattar would converse for a long time with him, and he would also give him some alms when he was begging. So all the disciples, they were little surprised and confused with the behavior of Parashara Bhattar. So they came and asked him, so why do you deal like this? There is very great Pandit is going, but you don't give any attention to him, you neglect. But at the same time, this Brahmana, poor Brahmana, he doesn't even know properly. He doesn't have any knowledge of scriptures. He doesn't even, but he keeps reciting some shlokas incorrectly. But for him, you are showing so much of respect. So why is it so? So then Parashar Bhatta told, so tomorrow you'll understand. So then when next day this Pandit came, at that time Parashar Bhatta asked him, Paratatva Nama Kim? He asked, who is this ultimate Supreme Lord and what is his name? Then this Pandit became little confused. Pandit was saying that I have read all the scriptures. I can quote also. But somehow I am confused about what is the identity of that Supreme Lord. I don't know what is the identity. And who is that Supreme Lord? I do not know. That is the very question which sometimes I would want to discuss with you. So then this Pandit left the place. And then this poor Brahmana came. And then again, as usual, he was invited inside and he was given respect. And at the same time, he asked a question. Brahmana, I want to ask you one question. He asked, Paratattva Namakim. And then as soon as this Brahmana heard this question, he became so angry. Whatever bowl that he had and whatever alms that he had given, he threw it. And he said that you are claiming yourself to be teacher and you are teaching so many disciples of so many shastras. But don't you know who is the Supreme? And you are asking this question to me? I thought you know all these things well before, and you are teaching others. And if you do not know, then how can you teach? He said, Paratattva is this Lord Ranganath who is there in Srirangam. Who else can be Paratattva? He told like this and he immediately left the place. And then Parashar Bhatta looked at all the disciples. Now did you understand what is the difference between this Pandit and what is the difference between the devotee? So a very similar instance, when Prabhupada was sitting in Vrindavan, there were a few Sanskrit scholars and some Pandits. They also came to meet Prabhupada. And when Prabhupada was meeting them, and Prabhupada was discussing with them, and Prabhupada knew exactly what would be their weakness. Prabhupada asked, who is God? Who is Supreme God? He asked. And all the Sanskrit scholars, they were all confused. They were all trying to say something, but they could not conclusively make any remarks. Conclusive statement they could not make. So they were all confused. And Prabhupada saw that there was one girl who was passing by. She was Shyamsundar Prabhu's daughter, Saraswati. And Prabhupada called her. And Prabhupada showed a big jar of gulab jamuns. And Prabhupada, as soon as small girl, she saw that gulab jamuns are there and Prabhupada is showing. So she came very much running. And that time Prabhupada asked her one question. Saraswati, what is the name of the Supreme God? Who is Supreme God? And then immediately Prabhupada was showing one gulab jamun in his hand, big gulab jamun. And she told, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Prabhupada immediately gave that gulab jamun to her. And Prabhupada asked one more question. Who is Supreme? And she again said, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And she just ran. And immediately Prabhupada looked at all the Sanskrit scholars. And they were all confused. So then all the Sanskrit scholars were saying, even our Gurukul, small girl, even she knows who is the Supreme Lord. And then immediately those Sanskrit scholars told her, she knows that Krishna is the Supreme, but she does not know how Krishna is Supreme. And then Prabhupada said that even Krishna doesn't know how he is Supreme, how he is great. Because Krishna's greatness continuously keeps increasing. And even that Supreme Lord doesn't know his greatness because his greatness is so unlimited. that even he is unaware of his complete greatness. So now, if you see in this shloka, but Lord Brahmaji is saying that, but I know greatness of the Supreme Lord. See, in the previous 41st shloka, if you have a mobile, you can see also. There, he says, नान्तं विदाम्यहम् अमी मुनयो अग्रजास्ते माया बलस्य पुरुषस्य कुतो वराये गायन् गुणान् दशशतानन आदिदेवः शेषोऽधुनापि समवश्यति नास्य पारम्. Here is saying, here Brahmaji is saying, neither I nor all the sages born before you know fully the omnipotent personality of Godhead. So what can others who are born after us know about him? Even the first incarnation of the Lord, namely Shesha, has not been able to reach the limit of such knowledge, although he is describing the qualities of the Lord with 10 faces. So that means here he is saying that Brahmaji is saying that I do not know. But if you see in this shloka, 43rd shloka, he is saying, Veda aham anga paramasya hi yogamayam yuyam. See, Veda aham. Veda means I know. Aham means myself. And yuyam means you, Narada, also. So that means here is saying these about Supreme Lord and his potencies, I am able to know, and also yourself. And also many other souls, what the names what we just read today. All these people are able to know the Supreme Lord and his potencies. So that means in the previous shloka he told that he doesn't know. But here he's saying, I know it. So can anybody say why Brahmaji just in one or two statements only Brahmaji is saying making such a remark? He's saying I don't know, but after some time he says I know it. Anybody would like to? Sorry, Prabhuji.
Authorities' words, they are believing. I am following them, so they know Krishna is supreme. So I am accepting their words.
But Brahmaji was following whom?
Saying the names of all the great devotees mentioned in the verse.
So,
but
Brahmaji did not have any other. He heard directly from Supreme Lord.
Yeah, that is also there. But
yeah, Brahmaji knows only how much he has revealed.
And first, when he's telling Prabhuji, I don't know, maybe that implies means two things. One, what I feel first is quantity, means the details of the pastimes and the knowledge. And second, when he says that he knows, maybe in the principle, he knows, or it can be this also that because he second verse, because we are surrendered, so we know you, like that it is told. Means in first he is telling that on my own I cannot know, and if you bestow your mercy on me, I can get to know, like that also.
Yeah. So very similar, because in the previous shloka of 42 shloka, he says, how can one know the Supreme Lord? So just by having a great position, because Brahma is the topmost position, so that Brahma being the Supreme Lord and Creator, just by having that position, one may not be able to know. Or even if one may say that I am a great preacher, or if I am a great, even if someone says I am Guru or Acharya, if someone says by any of the posts and positions, or I am the king, any of these posts and positions cannot make one know Supreme Lord. But he says the two qualities which were mentioned in the previous shloka. He says, Yesham Sayesha Bhagavan Dayayedanantah Sarvatmanashrita Pado Yadi Nirvyalikam Te Dustaram Atitaranticha Deva Mayam Naisham Mamaham Itidhi Shva Shrugala Bhakshe. He says two qualities. by which one can know the Supreme Lord or about him. So that first is Sarvatmanashrita Pada. That means if one is able to surrender unto the Supreme Lord without having any reservation. Prabhupada gives very amazing meaning. He says, by all means without reservation. So that means if we are able to offer ourselves completely to the Supreme Lord, offering ourselves means to the practice of bhakti. If one is able to offer himself completely, and yadi nirvyalekam means Prabhupada is saying without pretension. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gave amazing meaning to these two words. I will just read. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, one cannot know, how one cannot know the Supreme Lord is mentioned. So there is one shloka in Mundakopanishad which Prabhupada also many times has quoted. Nayamatma pravachanena labhyo na medhayana bahuna shrutena yam evaisha vrunate tena labhyas tasyaisha atma vivrunate tanum swam. He is saying Nayamatma pravachanena labhya. That means we cannot know the Supreme Lord by giving so many pravachans, or one cannot know by one's own intelligence. Na bahuna shrutena. Shrutena means very learned, or by hearing. By hearing for a long time, or by speaking for a long time, or by using one's intelligence, one cannot know the Supreme Lord. But one can know yam evaisha vrunate tena labhya. Yam evaisha matlab, so that means to that person. Tasyaisha atma vivrunate tanum swam. To that person to whom the Lord has bestowed mercy. So to that person, the glories of the Supreme Lord, the potencies of the Supreme Lord is easily accessible or easily known. Now one can ask, to whom does Lord bestow that mercy? Why did he bestow only to these people? But why is he not bestowing to others? So there then he says these two qualities, that he bestows to them those who possess these two qualities. They should be nirvyalekam. Prabhupada says they should be without pretension. That means without duplicity. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says without material desires. That means one is surrendering without any material desires. And then who takes shelter of the Supreme Lord, Sarvatmana. Sarvatmana means completely. And also it means that without any tinge of karma or jnana. That means if one's bhakti is also becoming diluted or becoming contaminated by karma or jnana, then it is surrender is not complete. So like this, he says, now how can we know whether one has been bestowed that mercy or not? Now someone may say that I have received so much knowledge. I know about Supreme Lord this much. Someone may say, but what is the indication that they have received the mercy or not? That was mentioned in the previous shloka, that naisham mama naisham mamaham itidhi shva shrugala bhakshe. That means they will not have mama and aham. As soon as they lose their mama and aham, that shows that they have received mercy. Now that's why in the next shloka he says all these great devotees' names who have received mercy of the Lord, and they are able to know. They are able to know the Supreme Lord and His mercy. So in that sense, in Bhagavad Gita 9.1 shloka also, Supreme Lord says, this is a very nice shloka. Lord is saying, idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyami anusuyave gnanam vignana sahitam yagnatva mokshase shubhat. That means this most confidential knowledge, whatever I am giving, this confidential knowledge which I have never given any time before, and I am giving to only because you are completely envious. You are free from any envy. That's why I am able to give you this knowledge. But this knowledge what I am giving you is not just theoretical knowledge. I am giving you Gnana plus Vijnana. Both I am giving. That means Supreme Lord, when He gives knowledge, that knowledge will not remain theoretical knowledge. That knowledge will actually be realized wisdom knowledge. And what is the symptom that we have received realized knowledge? It says Yagnatva mokshase ashubhat. That means by knowing that knowledge, one will get liberated. Now, for example, one just statement which I just heard, I will share with all of you. So this is from one of the foreign authors, but somehow sometimes even great wisdom words also come out from them. So this says, where is the life that we have lost in living? That means we are living. We are nowadays so much of modern technology is going on. So much modern gadgets are there. So many machineries we are using. So many mechanized systems that we are using. But what is happening is there is no life. The food also that we are eating doesn't have any life. The kind of people also that we are dealing with, there is no lively dealings. So where is the life that we have lost in living, and where is the wisdom that we have lost in knowledge? That means we may have knowledge, but where is the wisdom? And where is knowledge that we have lost in information? That means so much information is there, but there is no knowledge, and then there is no wisdom. So that's why it is said information one can gain just by cramming. Now Google, so much of information is there, just by download one can get so much of information. But by knowledge one can get by understanding it. By understanding one can get knowledge. But how can one get wisdom? With wisdom one can gain by practicing that knowledge in one's life and also rendering service to the Supreme Lord, rendering service to devotees. So that's how one can gain knowledge. With last one incident which I will share, which is in connection with this wisdom. At one point of time, Madan Mohan Malaviya, he was a very close associate also of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he came in one of his initial meetings with Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He was saying, he was the one who has founded Banaras Hindu University. That means he was very knowledgeable person. He was like a scholar. This person came and he asked, I have read Bhagavad Gita, but I am not able to understand the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. If you can teach me the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. And at that time, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was quite busy. He told that you are you able to see this Pujari? You can go and ask him. He will tell you what is the meaning of this. And he went and asked this Pujari. Pujari was not such a great scholar or anything. He told, I am actually quite busy in doing this DT worship and washing DT vessels. If you can just help me little in washing these DT vessels, and then we will discuss. And so this Madan Mohan Malaviya, he was quite humble also. Though he had so much of knowledge and he was a scholar, but still he was quite humble enough. And then he washed for a long time, for 1 or 2 hours of, for a long time he did service. And after that, then he was going. And then immediately Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur came and he came out and he called him. And he has said that you had a question which you wanted to ask. And then this Madan Mohan Malaviya, he told, actually, the question which I had, I already got it answered. When I was washing DT vessels, I got the answer to the question which I had. And he said, so by rendering service to the Lord and to devotees and by humility, one's knowledge, theoretical knowledge actually turns into realization. So that's how here Brahmaji is saying that I am able to know the Supreme Lord, or any devotee is able to know only because of their surrender, and because of their unalloyed devotion, and because of their with unpretentious dealings and fear and behavior, because of which they can know the Supreme Lord and His glories. Without which, otherwise, about the Supreme Lord, things always remain very ascertainable and also unknowable. It remains always a complex subject matter for people. So this is my it is such a complicated subject matter also. Many times we may say that I know Bhagavatam. We may quote some shlokas and we may say, but our knowledge is also very shallow. But we are able to know whatever little is only by the grace of acharyas and by the grace of all devotees. And when sincere devotees are there sitting in the audience, at that time Lord also makes anybody speak little significant words, though all that is only because of the sincerity of the devotion of devotees who are there. So thank you all very much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.
Prabhu, thank you very much for such a very nice, wonderful class. So,
जय श्री श्री राधा नीलमठ भगवान की, श्री श्री गौनिता की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की.
so Prabhu, here so many names are given who know about the Supreme Lord. So I was just remembering that Yamaraj in 6th canto is saying 12 Mahajans, Dwadashete Vijanimo,
Yes.
Dharman Bhagavatan. So there is saying these 12 people know the Bhagavad Dharma. And in that also Brahmaji is there. And so Brahmaji is only telling here that these people know. So what to understand? Like who all know?
Actually, Prabhupada writes very amazingly in the first paragraph, just initial few lines of purport. Prabhupada says that all devotees in the past and all the devotees in the present and in future, whoever is going to come, everyone can know. That means many devotees are there. So there also then, when Prabhupada was also saying this for 12 Mahajans, then Prabhupada, that one disciple tells Prabhupada, you are 13th. And Prabhupada says that you are 14th. That means it is not only they, but one who is following in the footsteps of any, one who is following those principles, and one who has received mercy can also know. Uddhava. Uddhava's name is not there, I think, in the 12 Mahajans list. Here it's there, I think, na? Uddhava name. Na? Uddhava name is there. Yeah. So that means how one someone is left out, something like that we may feel. So someone is left out in that list and it is there in this. So it may cause some confusion. I think that Prabhupada's first few lines, I think it will solve. Is it? Or you want to add something? Also you can add. Huh? Huh? But do you feel it's convinced? Huh? Huh? Because Krishna says, Teshaham, Tesham sa aham ajnana jamtamaha. How does it start? Tesham evanukampartham aham ajnana jamtamaha nashayamyatma bhavastu jnana deepena bhav. Anybody who has, Lord is saying, it is not reserved.
They say that we know. What is the meaning of we know? Because you are told Krishna also cannot know it.
Yeah. Actually, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives, I'll just read that part. That's very nice. He says, one is symptoms, he says, and another thing, you see this. This is very nice. What are the symptoms of his mercy? There should be persons without material desires, nirvilikam, who take shelter of Lord's feet with indifference to karma and jnana, sarvatmana. The principal function of his Shakti of mercy is to manifest pure bhakti. That pure bhakti is manifested in people by his devotees. I will just come to that part where exactly. If they attain that mercy means association of devotees. That's what he mentions. Gaining knowledge of the Lord is indicated by the word cha. By what symptoms should Maya's affliction and freedom from that affliction, that is knowledge, be known? That means if one has known knowledge, that Bhagavad Gita shloka also, Yagnatva mokshase shubhat, he'll get liberated from all material miseries. That means if one has known, that means he will get liberated from all miseries. That is the symptom that he has known. And one more thing he says, one thinks of me and mine, of one's own body and the bodies of children and others, which are worthy of food for dogs and jackals. Those who attain mercy are free from this conception. That means if one is saying that I know, or if one is saying, that means one who is freed from this conception of the bodily conception, that means he can know the Supreme Lord also. In the next shloka, this is what he says. That means if one says that I know the Supreme Lord, that means he should be free from bodily conception of life. And in one more place also, I just heard that I think in the previous shlokas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he was saying, see here he's saying, in the 41st shloka, I do not know when he's saying, I do not know, and neither Kumaras, none of these people know. Here he says, I do not know the end of the strength of his Maya Shakti. What to speak of his spiritual energy. In that sense, when they are saying that Supreme Lord's energy they cannot know means when Lord reveals, they know. And Lord can reveal to them. But for other living beings, Lord has not even revealed to them, even a fraction. But at least these people have known. And to the extent Lord reveals, to that extent they can know. Is it if you wish to add also, you can add, but this is my understanding. Of course, Bhagavan expects Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Time is up, I think. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Actually, Bhagavasham bro knows already answer.